Hello everyone, and welcome to another Europa Universalis 5 video. Now, there was a Tinto talk yesterday, but I didn't make a video about it. And then there was a patch just a few minutes ago that now I am going to make a video about it. And the reason is that Tinto Talks was essentially saying, these are all of the things that we're going to change, and I thought maybe I'll wait until those are actually in and changed. But then we had today's update about 40 minutes ago, and the amount of changes are there's not as many as in here. So I thought maybe we were gonna get all of this stuff, and we didn't, and that's a little sad, but maybe, not everything was working correctly and fine. But we're going to start with the Tinto talks, and we're going to see what they're planning on changing, and then we're going to see what has just been updated and all of that. So, Rome is now a tier 5 formable, so Byzantium can form it. Sure, whatever. I am of the opinion that this is kind of silly. These guys are already the Roman Empire, and I know I've said this a bunch of times, and I'm going to get comments and whatever saying, oh, you're whinging about this again. But this kind of stuff, like, I enjoy, like, the role play of playing these games, and this does kind of matter to me in a way. And I was talking with Count Christo on Discord about this, and he made the point of, well, this is less about, they are, obviously they have always considered themselves to be the Roman Empire, but this is maybe that they are finally able to project that legitimacy onto the rest of Europe. And basically my comeback to that was the requirements to form Rome are so astronomically high that they're of the people who deny their Romanness, not very many of them are still alive by the time you have formed the Roman Empire. I don't know. It's just it maybe what I could definitely see is lighter requirements if you are Byzantium, the Romans, whatever. That would be quite nice. Maybe the requirements could be something along the lines of you have dismantled the HRE, and maybe you could get a special CB for that after you've done some, maybe after you got Rome and Tunis, and you've recreated like the height of the borders, or if you've restored the pentarchy, you have all 5 pentarchs, then you get a CB to dismantle the empire. You do that, boom, you are allowed to now be called Rome in the eyes of the world. And again, I know I'm going to get not hate, but people are going to say, oh, stop talking about this. But, I'm coming at this from I have an idea for how this might work. So maybe this could be like this. And maybe if the devs see this, then maybe that can, maybe be in the game. And, I feel like that would be just a better way of representing it. I don't know. Anyway, some game balance things that are going to start happening. Cav now take 25% less damage instead of 50% less damage. Cavalry, of course, everyone knows right now, are kind of broken, overpowered. Levies are now 10% stronger in the Age of Absolutism and Age of Revolutions. This is something that just went in today's thread, or in today's update. I didn't see this one, but we can just hop on over here. Yeah, no, that's not one of them, but the levy change is in. So, yeah, keep using Cav, because they're still broken. Occupation now changes maritime presence to benefit the occupier instead. It used to benefit the owner of the location even when fully occupied. I quite like this. Maybe a way to increase your maritime presence is to occupy the lands of the person who borders that, maritime sea zone. That'd be kind of... I like that, yeah. Lowering infection rate of malaria in the regions of Maghreb, Egypt, and South Africa to 5% of its previous rate, which is crazy. Absolutely huge reduction in malaria. I saw someone, I think it was Lady Saffron, saying that this is maybe going after this the wrong direction. Something about the Romans had to import like tons of quinine to like protect its own citizens in Rome from massive malaria outbreaks in Rome. So it's not a uniquely African disease. That is a soundtrack that is a little too engaged. But yeah, no, this definitely does feel better, and it might be somewhat of a nerf to Tunis and Morocco. They were really, really difficult to invade. maybe now they're going to be quite a lot less difficult. We'll see. Bug fixes as well. Slave raiding from privateering now works. So we nerf the Tunisians and we buff the Tunisians, because why not? But yeah, no, it's good that this is now going to be working. I assume people who are playing in Italy may complain about this, though. The block building in our territory works the right way around now. It used to check the opposite. Cool, good. You'll no longer get the colony failed when you have subjects in the same province. This was rather annoying. Yes, it was. If you are colonizing the same province as your colony is colonizing, it doesn't matter who finishes that final location first. It will obviously flip to the colony, and therefore you will get the colony failed, which is obviously just not what you want. That's terrible. But yeah, that's fixed. Integration breakdowns for provinces now calculate correctly. Fixed flanking damage being inverted in tooltips. This is basically, if you have cavalry on the flanks, they were doing flanking damage against people in the same flank as them, but then when they were flanking, they weren't doing damage. Either that is actually what was happening, or it was just in the tooltips that it was registering it wrong. But yeah, everyone got confused, and hopefully that has been fixed. I again didn't see it in here, so maybe I need to do a quick scan through it again, but I don't see it in here. We'll do a more thorough scan when we go through it again. Other annoyances, like subjects no longer transfer occupation to overlord if they are the war leaders. This is so irritating to me. There is something I think that is a little bit more pressing. If I transfer occupation as an overlord to a subject, I again have the power as the overlord to take that occupation back. So a subject should just leave it the fuck alone. They should transfer all occupation to overlord when it is sieged, and then never touch that system again. If I, as the overlord, want to transfer a location to a vassal, then I should do that. And then the subject should have zero power with which to cancel that and give occupation back to me, or give it to a war leader if I'm, a secondary participant. Like, it feels so obvious to me what the correct solution here should be, and it's wild that we're not getting that correct solution. Just do what we had in EU4. It worked. It was brilliant. As for AI, they're hoping the AI changes their testing will reduce the board goal and make the AI behave better, and that is something that we are seeing in here. I did see it somewhere. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. Here. Less likely to attack neighbors of faraway exclaved lands. Hopefully that is going to be helping, though I did come across very many very irritating issues today when streaming as Bohemia. I was a secondary participant in quite a few wars, and in every single one of them, the AI gave me land. And as well, I was playing as France yesterday, helping out my ally Naples as they were trying to invade into northern Italy, and they would just give me land in the middle of Germany. And I think that's just crazy. It's crazy. Like, exclaved land should not be so easy to acquire. You shouldn't be allowed to take exclaved land. War declaration AI fixed an issue where the AI would not declare war because they don't want to spend stability, even when the war would cause zero stability to declare. Good, that is something that's just gone in. They're now less likely to attack neighbors of faraway exclaved land, also fine. AA will further delay signing peace deals when they have a long-lasting siege that's worth a lot of war score. Fix an issue where enemy alliance occupation percentages wasn't being calculated correctly, causing the AI to not peace out. Issue where they would make peace deals in a way that split the conceding country into disconnected, unreachable pieces by reviving dead nations. Fix an issue where the AI was allowed to take exclave land in a peace deal. I didn't see this in here. It's kind of important. I don't see it, and that's very sad, because I don't like that that's a thing that they can do. Yeah, this one should have been in. It should have been in. But they'll only annex countries if their respective capitals is within conquering distance. Let's be real now. If this didn't go in, this doesn't make any lick of difference because everything's within conquering distance. But of course, it's not here either, which is a little sad for me. AI armies get stuck in a cycle trying to reforce an imminent battle. Yep, that one's very annoying. Stuck waiting for transports that were being trapped behind a blockade. When they would think they didn't have enough men to siege a fort due to checking combat power instead of numbers of men. Facing a situation where they would sometimes not merge small armies together during peace. Economic AI stuff to change as well. Reduce the AI manpower target based on the size of the economy while also increasing the military budget, meaning they will now have a larger army and less surplus manpower while keeping the cost roughly the same. They gradually respect their desired buffer when building units based on how depleted their forces are. Reduce the AI maximum target for manpower as they wasted money on having way too much compared to their actual army. They would also not be building fleets up enough, so now they build fleets up to 100% of their monthly sailors, leaving nothing in reserve. Sorry, they would do that, and they don't anymore. Leave nothing in reserve for reinforcements. So basically, they were doing the opposite of the army thing. They were leaving too much manpower and too little sailors, and I guess, meet in the middle. Fixed an issue where the AI would not be able to buy things when they were saving up stability or gov power to get out of disasters, even when the cost didn't include stability or government power. They're now more interested in keeping stability above zero, reduce the desire when above zero, and reduce the AI willingness to invest in the stability slider to suppress ongoing rebels. Now, how much of that made it in? Block building bugs fixed, slave raiding from privateering fixed, no longer get colony failed, that's in. Levies are stronger, good, although Age of Absolutism and Revolutions, you could make these 100% stronger. I mean, 100% of zero is still zero. They are worthless. Like, 10% stronger than worthless is still worthless. I just don't know how best to, describe just literally how bad they are, that they are negative quality. Raising them is a negative to you. Even if they don't take part in combat, it's obviously raising levies is bad, but then they do literally nothing except give the enemy war score and lose you. The 10% is nothing, absolutely nothing. The maritime change from occupation is in. Subjects transferring occupation to overlord if they're the war leaders. It's not. It doesn't matter. This is basically the AI won't transfer occupations to the overlord if they are in a rebellion or if they're a colony that's in a war. But that's the only times that subjects are going to be the war leaders. This doesn't really mean anything. The malaria thing is in. Province integration breakdown tooltip is in. AI not wanting to spend stab even when they wouldn't have spent stab is in. Less likely to attack neighbors in faraway exclaved land. I mean, is that enough? Probably not. They'll delay signing peace deals when they have siege. Issue where any alliance percentage wasn't being calculated correctly. Made the AI less likely to make peace deals in a way that split the conceding country because of the reviving dead nation. Conquering distance from capital. No longer add highly situational peace deals like food access and fleet basing rights to every peace deal. That's good, okay. Sometimes the AI would think they didn't have enough men to siege a fort, and then the AI is more likely to have bigger standing armies and professional navies. This is the big thing for me, and I think that is essentially a couple of these merged together. Something like these, yeah, merged together, and that's what's been merged for a single tool, for a single update line. I don't know. But yeah, this is today's update. I've downloaded it. I play it. Obviously, everything here seems like it is good. I have not yet checked Parliament, so let's hope that that's all good as well. But there was one more thread that I just wanted to touch on. Not something to deep dive into, but Johan basically posted this thread today. Well, let's call it yesterday. For most of you, it would be yesterday because I'm in Finland, so this was 10 p.m. British time. Anyway, Johan's basically explaining what happened in his multiplayer game, and there's I don't really want to go into like the specifics of, oh, and then he did this and read this and blah blah blah. I just want to say, obviously the AI, the programmers, the devs are playing a lot of multiplayer. They play quite regularly. They've got 19 players. They play 2-hour sessions 3 times a week, which I mean, I'm very envious, obviously. But there are certain things that the players are doing that are, let's say, not something I really like. For starters, the French player had expanded into Italy and allied with England, demanded respect. So there is this war that they are having. England and France are allied. They're also allied with Bohemia, who have expanded, into the north quite heavily. This is like a crazy level of what the hell. But the thing I really wanted to point out is, if we have a look here, the level of vassals that at least the devs are thinking is the right way to play. And I'm looking at France here. Narbonne starts the game as a one-location miner, and he's been given the entire south coast. Armenier has been given a lot of land. Bezaris has been given a lot of land. Laura Poitou is just been created. So essentially what the devs are thinking is the correct way to play is small core area, vassals on the outskirts. I think he's integrated Normandy there. Whereas Yuan is going with taking all of the land around this bay, and Adriatic? That's not Adriatic, right? I forget what the names of all the seas are called. Anyway, this is the way Yuan is playing, is he's playing as Venice in this. Milan's got a really interesting system, although it's unclear whether he's still got his capital in Milan or he's moved it to Genoa. Either way would probably work here. And then the Two Sicilies player is, keeping all the land for himself. So yeah, it's very interesting the way things are happening here. The Castile player has given land to Navarra, and then after conquering Aragon, he's released Valencia and Catalonia, which I find very, very interesting. And if we go up here as well, he's kept Granada as a vassal. He's released Galicia. I just find this kind of fascinating, the different playstyles and the centralization versus decentralization meta, if you will. Looks there as well, like Cornwall and Devon have been released, and Scotland has been split up into a bunch of different vassals. Not sure what's happening in Holland, whether it's who's the player there. But yeah, no, I just find it super interesting. I will obviously post this thread in the description as well if you would like to go read it. It's an entertaining read. And it makes me really want to play EU5 multiplayer. I will be trying to organize new multiplayers in the new year, but I think I'm going to be going with probably something like this. 16 to 20 players in a single region, that kind of way is probably what I'm going to enjoy the most, rather than trying again to do a completely futile 50-plus player situation like I tried and failed to do before. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you are going to go enjoy this new update. That's my plan. So hope you guys have a good evening, and I will see you guys for the next one, whenever that ends up being. Toodaloo. Bye-bye.